Welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. So, at this juncture, we are ready to start sending probes to other planets. Yeah. I think, for starters, we're going to start off with Duna. And this is going to be a combined, relay and science satellite. Kind of both in one. So, let's get our new satellite started. Dunos 1. And we're going to want a big relay antenna on this guy. Before that, there we go. Always use lots of electric power for these things. Whoops. And we'll clip those in a little bit. Okay, that looks good. Now let's check the range on some of these. Alright. Yeah, that'll be... that'll be much better. Just kind of thinking out loud here. How I want to do that. Yeah, it's going to look gross, but it'll be functional. Custom 2 will toggle that. Custom 1 will do solar panels. Alright, that looks good there. Now we're going to also do... Oh, yeah, can't forget this. Very important. Now we're also going to do some extra science out along the way. Not bad. Now, the question becomes, can I fit one of these in such a way that it'll work okay? I'm gonna try. All right. Not liking how that's going. Let's do 2 at a time. Oh, come on, really? Don't like how that's clipping into the antenna. Alright, good enough for now. Now this stage that we're using here is going to have enough delta V and be controllable enough to get that into like the kind of orbit we want. And that is always the $1 million trick. All right, and did we... Yeah, we did not research the nuclear engine yet. So we're going to be doing this fairly conventionally. Which is to say, inefficiently. Alright, so this is going to be up under our fairing. Yeah, and it's going to have to extend a bit, because that top dish is very large. I wish that it was collapsible, but the collapsible dish doesn't work as a relay. Yeah, that'll have to do. Alright, so what comes next is going to need to have absolutely inappropriate amounts of delta V. That should have a relatively good amount of delta V. The skipper engine is quite efficient. But, I don't know. I'm having second thoughts about the fuel tank. Because... yeah, that'll be fine for now. Because the purpose of this stage is purely going to be a retro burn at Duna. So that's not going to have to get us there or anything. That's not a trans stage. That is a retro burn stage. Wrong one. There we go. Now I have to get this to Duna. And this is where things can get a little interesting. And we'll strut that. Now, this is where I get a little creative. I'm going to have some extra liquid stages up here that are asparagus staged, all feeding into this lower chamber. Like, this isn't intended to last for very long. This is literally just going to be extra thrust for what I'm about to build up here. There we go. And this may fail dramatically. I don't know. But I'm hopeful that this has enough delta V. Because I want to get this into orbit. And this should be a trans stage able to get us to Duna. This will slow us down. This will all adjust our orbit. Oh, this is going to be an expensive mission. Okay. All right, that'll be good there. This is a very Kerbal design. Yeah. All right. I have no idea if this is going to work. This is completely experimental. This isn't normally the sort of design I go with, but I'm just having a little bit of fun on this mission. All right, so now... Oh, no. All right, so it's going to be a while. Kraken Insurance. All right, going right up. That's good and healthy so far. Ooh, this is a little wobbly. I should have did extra struts there. Oh, 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 uh-oh. 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 Not working. Not working. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. All right, this is not going to end well. I should have gone with a much more conventional design. All right, let me try and see if I can at least get this in a space. If nothing else, it'll be an extremely expensive relay satellite up above Kerbal. Oh, no. Yeah, the center of gravity's all wrong on this. I was worried about that. And now I don't have those tail fins. Ugh. What a disaster. What a disaster. Yeah, that was a failed design. Note to self, just use solid rocket boosters on the sides. What a mess. Oh, man. I don't know. You know what? Maybe I'll... This has a scanner on it. Maybe I'll put it out in orbit of the moon or something. If it'll even get there. That was such a botched launch. So much Delta V was wasted. Alright, well, at the very least, let's circularize our orbit. Now, you know what? I might just throw this out to a weird elliptical orbit around the sun. Because the whole purpose of this really was just to be a relay anyway. So I'm just going to throw this out into... I'm just going to gravity assist this off into the middle of friggin' nowhere and see what happens. I'll send it off into some crazy trajectory. We had a good one there for a second. You know what? Let's try it this way. Yeah, that was a really screwed up launch. But it's fine, it's fine. Alright, so now... Yeah, it's getting crazy, look at that. Heck, we're almost going to Duna just with this. And we will send that out on its way. Alright, well, we've got into interplanetary space. And so now, like, just for fun, I'm just gonna push this out as far as I can. Just to get into a weird kind of elliptical orbit here. That actually has a fair amount of delta V. Look at that, all the way to dress? Cool. Not bad. So we're going to rename this. Relay Sat 1. Yeah, that didn't work out so well. Let's try it again. I'm going to redo our booster a little bit. First, let's check for some contracts. Nothing. Okay, so that was a mess. Let me tell you what I'm thinking. I'm thinking this might get kind of tall. I'm thinking this might get a little too tall. Because I'm thinking I'm going to use some of these Clydesdales as a first stage. I don't know if these will overheat and explode. They might. Oops, wrong one. But, oh, that's neat. But we'll find out. But one thing I'm definitely going to do is I'm going to strut this. There we go. And I'm going to do another set of control fins, just for a good measure. Okay. So this is ridiculous. And I have no idea if it's going to work. My worry is that the heat from these side boosters is going to overheat and explode that one in the middle. And if it happens, I'll relaunch with some spacers in between. All right, let's try that again. But hopefully without screwing up this time. Oh, did I? I'm an idiot. No, I had that right. Why didn't they? Did they not attach correctly? Alright, well, I'm going to do this then. Yeah, I'll just not worry about that. And those are still strutted. Okay. Maybe I needed launch clamps. Alright, here we go. Kraken insurance. Oh. Alright, missed out on Kraken insurance. But oh, it's so wobbly. Oh, I need way more struts. Oh boy, do I need more struts. Uh-oh. Oh, look at this. That is not good. That is not good. Oh. I may end up reverting this and just adding a lot more struts. But oh boy. Okay, that sorted itself out kind of once we got up to speed, but note to self, if I use this again, that needs a lot more struts. A lot more struts. Okay, and this has a lot of delta V to it. My goodness. Look at that. We're in the first stage. But yeah, these Clydesdale boosters are enormous. And we'll just get rid of them. And you know what? I noticed our power was draining, so I'm going to deploy the fairing just to get the panels out. Alright, now hopefully this will be enough to be able to get us to Duna. It's a bit of a ways off. But that's fine. Now do a little bit of Kraken insurance. Alright, that's actually quite a ways off. What's all this? Oh. Oh yeah, we're still getting some science from the... Well, you know, while I'm waiting for that, I think I'm going to try something else really quick here. We're going to design our 3-person crew capsule now. So, it's not what I wanted. Wish that was just a tiny bit narrower. Well, no, you know what I can do? I can actually put that on the bottom and graft it up under the heat shield. That'll be fine. And I'll bring this down just a tiny bit. Okay. Now, don't worry, don't worry. It's not going to get too crazy. Not going to get too crazy. We are going to build one of these into the design. So that we can use this, you know, and have the ability to collect science into it without any sort of nonsense. Without needing any extra parts or anything like that. We need 2 of those. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. Now we have to do the heat shield. Now you might be wondering why I have that probe core underneath. The answer is incredibly simple. I just want to be able to I want to be able to fly Kerbals on this that are not pilots and still be able to have control. It's really all there is to it. And speaking of the ability to do that, I'm going to put some radios in there just for some basic control. And we're strutting that so that it's not a weak joint. All right, now this is purely, we're gonna space that up a little bit better in a minute. This is purely for the purpose of doing this stuff. There we go. Now for an engine, what are we going to go with? I think we're going to go with one of these. But clipped up in. Like that. I like that. I like that. Okay, now we need, I'm just going to remove this for a second. We need a whole bunch of utility stuff added onto here, because this is going to be another thing that we will reuse for multiple purposes over time. Oh, perfect. Good. Even better. Okay. And so now, Custom 2 is going to do our solar panels. All right, so that'll be a basic 3-person capsule. And we'll call that Talos 1. I like that. That, I think, is going to have a lot of utility for use in the future. So let's think about getting this into orbit. I think we can do that with a relatively simple booster. This is going to look a little familiar. It's expensive, because those Clydesdales aren't cheap. But I think this should work out relatively well. So as a test, we're going to send up 3 of our crew members who are not pilots. And you know what? Let's hire another engineer. All right, this guy is crazy brave. So we'll go with that. Crazy brave is always fun. And we're moving up, so we're going to go to the regular capsules, or regular suits now. All right, we'll see what happens with Talos 1. And there's a method to the madness. If this works out well, I'm going to use this Talos 1 to fly out of Kerbin's sphere of influence very briefly, just very briefly, into orbit around the sun, and then just do a burn straight back to Kerbin to collect a whole bunch of science from orbit around the sun and bring it back to land on Kerbin and recover. All right, and this might work out pretty well. Yeah, those Clydesdales are very good boosters. I mean, they're expensive, but they work very well. Oh, excuse me. $50,000. All right, into space. Tons of Delta V. Awesome. And we're tumbling there, it doesn't matter. we have a fair amount of delta V off that. Like, that might even be enough delta V for, like, a moon flyby. So that's good. But we're going to do a quick test. Okay, we recovered our science capsule stuff. Let's get this guy an EVA just for a little extra experience. There's our relay around Minmus. It's what I like to see. Oh, look at all that delta V. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. We'll do that. We'll go on a flyby of the moon. Just for the small amount of extra experience for the crew. All right, I want to make sure I get out of the way of that trans stage before I start a retro burn here. I'm just gonna... Oh, right. All right, and this is mostly a test. Okay, so now I just want to check out... Not bad. Did good with our translation controls there. So that'll be suitable if we need to do rendezvous and docking at some point. So I think this Talos mission has a fair amount of potential. Presuming we survive re-entry, which I'm not worried about. That'll be good. And we'll have this ready to go for using it in the future. And we'll let this tumble on the way in. Now, the only thing that might be a factor, I'm not super worried, is if that probe core in between the heat shield and the crew capsule decides it wants to overheat and explode. But we should be fine with that heat shield. We should be fine. Famous last words. Okay. Kraken Insurance. Nice. All right, and we'll check splashdown here in a second. Again, we're just kind of making sure that the linkage here between the heat shield and the probe core is working okay. All right, well, we did that on time warp and it still came out fine. All right. You know what I'm going to do real quick? Haha, take a surface sample from the water. Because we're on Kerbal and we've never drank the water on our home planet. Oh, gotta love it. Oh, that actually got some science. All right. Or no, you know what? That was probably the automated stuff on the moon. But anyway, so what I'm gonna do here. I'm gonna time warp us a bit. Just to get us close to our launch window. And once I get the nuclear engine, things get a little bit different. At that point in the career, we're generally at the point where we can go wherever, right? So I'll start setting up alarms for the launch windows to all of the different planets, and I'll just start firing off missions to whichever one is coming up next. In terms of like relays and probes and stuff. I normally, like maybe with the exception of Elu, I like to get a relay probe around each planet before I start sending landing missions there. Or a crewed landing mission. Sometimes I'll send a landing probe, especially like to Eve. Eve will probably be last, because that is by far the most difficult to get off of the surface from. None of the others are especially problematic. Tilo can be weird just because it's got some heavy gravity and you have to get your ascent module and everything there. All right, and I think this will have been almost 2 years, right? In this fast forward we're doing. I think by this point we will have milked all of the science possible off of our surface experiments on the moon. Yeah. We're not getting any more science out of that. So now, it's been a while since I've done this. Let me think about this for a second. All right, I'm going to want to do it this way. I'm going to escape Kerbin's orbit just barely. Then I'm going to use that... The automatic... Wherever it is, the launch window tool there to get us a maneuver node to where we're going, which is going to be Duna. So this should be generally the type of burn we want to do. Okay. Oh, it's right. Forgot all about that. haven't used that in forever. I don't even remember where the button is for it. That's fine, though. Let me get this back on fuel. Alright, so now we're going to figure out our maneuver node to get to Duna. That's not too bad. Oh, and we'll crake in insurance as we're doing this burn. Looks like this stage will get us most of the way there. Okay. Get rid of that maneuver node. Kraken insurance. And we will warp there. And normally I'd be a little bit more careful about, like, about my Duna rendezvous here, where I was coming into the sphere of influence and all that. Like if I was setting up for a crewed landing, I'd be doing some extra maneuvers like out here to get this insertion a little bit more careful. But for this is just a relay probe. Nothing that matters. Shouldn't really have a whole lot of a problem establishing a good stable orbit. Between this and this, we have a ridiculous amount of delta V. And I think, yeah, there it is. There's Duna right there. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it in the video. But we see it. It's in sight. Oh, even better. Look at that. It's going to get us into a position for a good equatorial orbit. Even better. Hi, Duna. Hi, Ike. Well, we're burning a little off center there, but that's okay. Tons of delta V. Tons of delta V. And we'll get in close. We're going to run our magnetometer scan just while we're out here. And then we'll get in close. Not bad. We're still in space high. We're doing, that's okay. But what I had wanted to try and do is I had wanted to try and get this probe, and I still will in just a minute, into a low orbit so that we can do the scan with our scanner part there. And if I was being a little bit more diligent, I could right now collect an absolutely ridiculous amount of science by going around with that gravioli detector above all the biomes. But I'm not going to bother. Come on, space low. Space low, okay. Let's real quick grab that. And we're going to do a bit of a retro burn here. I may do a couple of biomes. Oh, look at that. All right. Got our orbital survey. And let's see if... Yeah, it would take me a long time to probe the whole surface. I'm curious if I'm going to be able to see any of the Easter eggs. Yeah, there was one over there that just went by. Alright, so that was good. And my thought was, I could be out of date, but I had believed you would get the monoliths detected on KerbNet here. I'm going to do just another orbit or two, because I want to just verify that I was in fact able to detect that one Easter egg. At least I thought I was. Am I orbiting too quickly? I don't think so. Interesting. I had really expected that I was going to be able to see at least one of those Easter eggs. I mean, I'm pretty sure I saw one as a blip for like a second there on the map. Nothing. That's very interesting. All right, well, I'm not going to keep doing that forever. Um, we got what we needed to out of this particular probe. Let me just get one more biome. Do we have lowlands? We did lowlands. Yeah, and that's just transmitting. I mean, that is a ridiculous amount of science we got from one experiment, just on one probe orbiting Duna. Absolutely ridiculous amount of science. Look at that, 1,300. 1,300. That's some good stuff there. That's also good stuff, especially that guy. Now we are playing with power. Right, well, I mean, yeah, we're not really needing any of that stuff. That can come in handy sometimes. That actually matters. Alright, so we're going to get some waypoints on Duna. Space around Duna, alright. Well, that second contract was just to orbit Duna, which we've already done. So I'm thinking I'm just going to cheat out that contract because we've already done it. But one thing I do want to do How are we not seeing it? All right. Well, I'm gonna... Well, yeah, that might not actually be like a detectable Easter egg. It's just the highest point on the planet. I think this... I think that's the face. Are you kidding me? That's annoying. I mean, do I have to pass directly over it in a super narrow field of view? Because we're going to get pretty close to this one. Huh. Alright, well, I'm going to have to clearly do a little bit more checking with that and make sure that I'm not making a dumb mistake. Maybe the functionality on that's changed. Because I seem to recall being able to detect the Easter eggs pretty easily using that method, that same exact method. Okay. Didn't even have to cheat the contract. Returning the signs did it for us. Now, this will be good. We'll use this to do a flyby of Duna. And with our flyby mission, we will carry a lander probe. So we'll kind of do a 2-for-1. Alright, nothing good here. But that's fine. So I'm going to call it an episode for now. Make sure to stick around for the next one, where we're going to be doing a flyby of Duna and a return back to Kerbal, and landing a probe. As always, thanks for watching.